The flickering streetlights outside my window always made me feel a little uneasy, but tonight was different. Tonight, I was meeting my new babysitter, Amelia. My parents found her through some old family friend, raving about how responsible and mature she was for her age. When the doorbell rang, I half expected a bubbly teenager from my high school, but the girl standing on our porch was otherworldly. She had this timeless beauty, with pale skin that seemed to glow, and eyes so dark they felt like they held ancient secrets. She introduced herself with a voice that was soft and melodic, yet carried a strange authority. My parents were instantly charmed, and after the usual instructions about my bedtime and where the snacks were, they left for their dinner party. The house suddenly felt quieter, bigger, and a little colder. Amelia and I tried to make small talk. I asked her about school, her hobbies, what music she liked. Her answers were always vague but elegant. She didn't go to a normal school, she said. She was homeschooled. Her hobbies included stargazing and reading very old books. When I asked what she was reading, she smiled and said, histories, mostly. It was weird, but I just chalked it up to her being a bit eccentric. We decided to watch a movie. I suggested a comedy, but she steered me toward a black and white classic, a Gothic romance I'd never heard of. As the movie played, I noticed she wasn't really watching it. Instead, her gaze would occasionally drift towards the window, towards the dark woods that bordered our backyard. Her focus was intense, like she was listening for something I couldn't hear. A little later, I went to the kitchen to grab a soda. When I came back, she was gone. I called her name, Amelia. No answer. I checked the bathroom, my parents' room, everywhere. A knot of panic started to form in my stomach. Finally, I noticed the back door was slightly ajar. My heart hammered against my ribs. Did she just leave? Peeking outside, I saw a figure standing at the edge of the woods, perfectly still. It was Amelia, but something was wrong. Her posture, the way she held her head. It wasn't human. She was looking up at the full moon, her silhouette sharp and almost predatory against the pale light. I ducked back inside, my mind racing. This was beyond strange. This was scary. I crept to my bedroom window, which had a better view of the yard. I watched as a deer cautiously stepped out from the trees. My breath caught in my throat. Amelia turned her head, slowly, unnaturally. The deer froze, transfixed, in the moonlight. I could have sworn I saw her lips part, revealing something unnaturally sharp. She took a step towards the deer, moving with a silent, fluid grace that was both beautiful and terrifying. I slammed my window shut, the sound echoing in the silent house. I dove under my bed, fumbling for my phone. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely dial 911. What would I even say? My babysitter is a vampire. They'd think I was a prank caller. Just then, I heard the back door click shut. Footsteps, slow and deliberate, crossed the living room floor. They were coming up the stairs. I held my breath, trying to silence the frantic beating of my heart. The footsteps stopped right outside my bedroom door. The doorknob began to turn, slowly. The door creaked open. I squeezed my eyes shut, bracing for the worst. Are you okay? It was Amelia's voice, back to its soft, melodic tone. I heard a loud noise. I peeked out from under my bed. She was standing in the doorway, looking completely normal. No fangs, no predatory gleam in her eyes, just a concerned teenager. I thought I saw a coyote in the yard, she explained calmly. I just wanted to make sure it was gone. Her explanation was so plausible, so normal. For a second, I thought I must have imagined everything. The moonlight, the weird posture, the fangs. Maybe I was just overtired. I crawled out from under the bed, trying to laugh it off. Oh, yeah, sorry, I stammered. I thought I saw something too. It spooked me. She gave me a gentle, reassuring smile. But as she smiled, the light from my bedside lamp caught her eye, and for a split second, I saw a flicker of something ancient and hungry. It was gone as quickly as it appeared, but I saw it. I knew what I saw. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. Those dark, knowing eyes. The rest of the night was agonizingly long. I pretended to be tired and went to bed, but I didn't sleep a wink. I just lay there, listening to the silence of the house, wondering what she was doing. When my parents came home, Amelia was sitting on the couch, reading a book. She looked like the perfect babysitter. My parents paid her thanked her, and she left, melting back into the night as if she were made of shadows. I never told my parents what happened. How could I? They would never have believed me. But I'll never forget that night. I still get a chill whenever I see a full moon. I've heard stories and legends my whole life, but I never thought they could be real. Now, I know the truth. Monsters are real, and sometimes they're the ones hired to watch over you. I check every new babysitter now, looking for pale skin, old eyes, and a smile that doesn't quite feel right, because you never know who might be knocking on your door after dark. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there. Don't forget to subscribe for more strange stories. Ever since I transferred to this new school, I've felt like I don't fit in. Everything is so perfect. The students are all gorgeous, smart, and a little too polished. It's like walking into a high-fashion magazine shoot every single day. And then there's him, Asher. He's the kind of guy that makes the whole room go silent when he walks in. Tall, with eyes that seem to hold ancient secrets, and a smile that could melt glaciers. Naturally, I developed a massive, hopeless crush on him. For weeks, I was just another face in the crowd, admiring him from afar. I'd see him in the library, always with a stack of old, leather-bound books. Or on the sports field, moving with a grace that was almost inhuman. He was always surrounded by his equally stunning group of friends, the elites of the school. They were like royalty, and I was just me. I resigned myself to the fact that he'd probably never even know my name. A girl can dream, right? But I never expected that dream to turn into a full-blown nightmare. It all started last Tuesday. I had stayed late to finish a project in the art room. The school was deserted and eerily quiet. As I was packing up, I heard voices coming from the hallway. I recognized one of them immediately. It was Asher. Curiosity got the better of me, and I peeked through the crack in the door. He was with his friends, but they weren't laughing or joking around like usual. Their faces were dead serious. They were talking in hushed, urgent tones about something called the Reckoning and the Mortal Girl. I didn't understand most of it, but the intensity in their voices sent a shiver down my spine. Then, I saw it. One of his friends, frustrated, slammed his fist against a locker, and the metal door crumpled like a piece of paper. My heart leapt into my throat. That wasn't normal. No human could do that. I backed away from the door, trying to make sense of what I'd just seen. Was I imagining things? I decided to just get out of there as fast as I could. As I bolted down the opposite hallway, I tripped over my own feet and my art portfolio went flying, scattering my sketches everywhere. Suddenly, a hand was there, helping me up. It was Asher. His touch was cold, startlingly cold, but his voice was warm and concerned. "Are you okay?" he asked, his dark eyes searching mine. I was so flustered I could barely stammer out a yes. He helped me gather my drawings, and when he handed me a charcoal portrait I'd secretly done of him, a faint blush colored his cheeks. For a moment, he was just a normal, cute guy. But then his eyes flickered to a small cut on my hand from the fall, and his expression changed. His pupils dilated, and for a split second, I saw a hunger in his gaze that was utterly terrifying. The next day, strange things started happening. I felt like I was being watched all the time. Shadows seemed to move on their own in the corners of my vision. One evening, I was walking home when a car came screeching around the corner, heading straight for me. I froze, completely paralyzed by fear, but before it could hit me, a blur of motion swept me off my feet and onto the sidewalk. It was Asher. He had moved faster than I thought was humanly possible. He held me for a second, his heart completely still not beating at all. That's when I knew for sure something was very, very wrong. Later that night, there was a tap on my window. It was Asher, perched on the branch of the old oak tree outside my second-story room. I let him in, my mind racing with a million questions. He looked at me with a sad, resigned expression. "You've seen things you shouldn't have," he said softly. "I owe you an explanation." And then he told me everything. He wasn't just a student, he was a vampire. Not just any vampire, but a prince, his family being one of the oldest and most powerful vampire clans in the world. He explained that his family had sent him to this school to live among humans, to learn their ways, to try and bridge the gap between their two worlds. The school was a sanctuary, a place where young vampires could learn to control their instincts. The elites were his royal guard, sworn to protect him. He confessed that he'd been drawn to me from the moment he saw me, but he'd kept his distance to protect me. The reckoning he'd been talking about was a dangerous ceremony, and my presence had somehow put me in the middle of it. Rival clans were now aware of me, and they saw me as a weakness, a pawn to use against him. My world was turned completely upside down. The guy I had a crush on wasn't just out of my league. He was from a different species altogether. He was a creature of the night, a prince of shadows. And because of him, I was in incredible danger. He told me he had to leave, to draw the danger away from me. But as he turned to go, I grabbed his arm. I was scared, yes, but I was also intrigued. And despite everything, the feelings I had for him were real. "Don't go," I whispered, "teach me. Help me understand." He looked at me, a mixture of surprise and admiration in his eyes. A slow smile spread across his face, this time showing just a hint of his fangs. "It will be dangerous," he warned. I nodded, my heart pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. "I'm not afraid," I said. Even though I was terrified, my boring, ordinary life was over. I was falling for a vampire prince, and I was about to step into his world of darkness, danger, and eternal night. I had no idea what was coming, but for the first time, I felt truly alive. My crush was a vampire, and this was just the beginning of our story. What would you do if you were in my shoes? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more crazy stories.